Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Karen Rice. I'm going to be painting a step-by-step snowy beach scene watercolour tutorial using a limited palette. And I'm using cerulean, ultramarine, Indian red and Naples yellow. And if you would like alternative colours, please see the description. For a full list of all the materials I'm going to be using in this tutorial, they will also be listed in the description along with Amazon links if you would like to purchase any of them. This is the gorgeous reference photograph I'm going to be using, and the link for this will be in the description below. So let's get started. I've drawn out my painting and a template for this is available on my Patreon membership, along with longer tutorials with lots more tips and techniques and colour mixing. And you can click on the link in the top right hand corner and it'll give you more details. I've wet my paper and I'm putting on a little bit of cerulean at the top, Naples yellow in the middle and a little bit of the Indian red just underneath. I'm painting this all wet in wet with my size 10 brush. I've mixed up some cerulean and the Indian red and I'm painting this wet into wet on the horizon just to get that sort of lovely, if you look at the reference photograph, you've got that lovely bluey shade there, and I've just dropped a little bit more cerulean in on that horizon area. I'm also putting a little bit of that colour in the sea area as well and just coming down right to the shoreline there. I've also put a little bit of very dilute colours on the beach area. This includes the Naples yellow, the Indian red and the cerulean mixed with the Indian red here and there, wet into wet. Using my size 6 brush, you can be very loose at this stage, just sort of put on colour but try to keep a lot of the areas light where the snow is. While the sky is still damp, I'm painting damp into damp using my size 6 brush, using a mixture of the ultramarine with a tiny touch of the Indian red, just to paint those lovely clouds high up in the sky. I'm using my size 2 brush now, painting wet on dry, a mixture of the ultramarine with the Indian red, a very pale colour to create distance. I put a little bit of framing tape along the horizon there just to keep a straight edge. Make sure your sky is absolutely dry when you do this. And I'm using a mixture of the ultramarine and the Indian red and painting wet on dry just to get some little textured marks here as well. I'm using a dry brush technique just to get a little bit of the light on the water. I've added a little bit more ultramarine and Indian red so it's slightly darker colour as I'm coming into the shore using my size 6 brush, just really sort of trying to be inventive with the colours. I waited for my painting to dry off and I'm just painting this other distant headland using my size 6 brush with a mixture of the ultramarine and the Indian red. Again, making sure it's pale. I want to give it a tiny bit of detail but not too much so it doesn't come forward. Once that's dry, I'm painting the nearer headland here using a little bit more of warmer colours. I've got some of the Indian red, the Naples yellow and the ultramarine. I'm using my size 10 brush, working wet on dry but also dropping colours in wet on wet. The paper I'm using is very rough, so I've got this lovely texture when I'm painting sort of with a dry brush technique, and I'm doing so here as well, using the tip of my brush and then softening as I go, using a lot of Naples yellow in this foreground area, and I'm dropping in now some of the Indian red with the Naples yellow, the touch of ultramarine, just having fun with it, you know, really sort of exploring the texture and the colour mixing using just these 3 colours. While the painting's still damp, I'm just using my plastic card that I've cut up and using the point of it to scratch in and to move the paint around to create more texture. I've allowed my painting to dry and I'm just putting a little bit of stronger, darker tones here on the right hand side using my size 6 brush with a mixture of the ultramarine and the Indian red. I'm just painting in the detail in the foreground here, the grasses and the twiggy bits, using a mixture of the Indian red, the yellow ochre and a touch of the ultramarine, using my size 2 brush. If you're not comfortable about using a brush, using these long sort of spindly sort of twigs and stems, why not use a twig? I've sharpened this little twig here. It's from the garden and I'm dipping it into a puddle of paint, ultramarine with a touch of the yellow ochre and a touch of the Indian red, and I'm just painting with it, but I feel like I'm drawing, so it makes it so much easier. I've covered up my painting with some kitchen towel just to protect it while I'm spattering. I'm using my size 2 brush and just using some of the colours that I have that I used for the stems and the sort of twiggy areas, and just giving it a spatter for texture really, just to finish off. I thought I'd give it a little spatter with some white paint as well because I lost a little bit of the light there. So just one final little spatter with some white, still using a size 2 brush just to finish off. I had a couple of little spots in the sky, so if that happens to you, a good thing to do is actually to paint some little birds in. So they're little V shapes really, and I'm using my size 2 brush, and it just adds a little bit of life to the painting as well. I'm just removing the framing tape to reveal a lovely white border. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for updates of my latest videos. Thank you again for watching. Happy painting. Bye for now.